The cliffs of Varithel were sacred to the Zerani. But sacred did not mean safe. The council gathered at the precipice that day, their robes of shimmering blue swaying in the wind. At the center stood a child, her wrists bound, her violet-scaled wings twitching in fear. She was only 5 cycles old, yet already branded a curse. "She carries the mark," the High Elder said, voice cold as the storming sea below. "No royal line may suffer corruption." The girl's wide eyes brimmed with terror. "Please don't. I didn't do anything." The crowd of nobles did not answer. To them, she was a blemish, a threat to the purity of the throne. Mercy was weakness. Tradition demanded removal. And so, with a shove, they cast her over the edge. Her scream echoed once before the waves swallowed her. The nobles turned away, satisfied. None saw the debris that carried her limp body downstream. None cared. The girl was forgotten. 15 years later, the mining colony of Karen, 9 thrummed with the noise of industry. Humans had come here in droves, carving settlements into the rock. Among them was Captain Elias Vance, a man hardened by war yet softened by a stubborn sense of justice. He was leading his crew through the lower caverns when he heard it, the faint scrape of chains against stone. "Hold," he ordered, raising a hand. His light cut through the darkness. There, crouched in the shadows, was a figure. Thin, bruised, with wings folded tight against her back. Chains bound her ankles. Her eyes, bright violet, glared at the intruders. "An alien. Looks like Zerani stock," one of his men muttered. "They sell these girls in the Dominion markets. Could be trouble, Captain." Elias crouched, lowering his weapon. "What's her name?" The girl flinched, as if unused to being spoken to. "I don't have one anymore." Her voice was raw, but beneath it, Elias heard defiance. He scanned the marks on her wrists, royal brands, faded but clear. His gut twisted. "What are you doing down here?" he asked gently. She hissed. "Waiting to die. Like I was meant to." Elias felt a chill. Over the next days, the truth unraveled. 15 years ago, a Zerani child of noble blood had been cast from the cliffs of Varithel, accused of bearing a curse. She should have died, but fate, or perhaps stubborn will, had carried her downriver. Slavers had found her, raised her in chains, and sold her from one world to the next. Now she was here, discarded in the mines like broken machinery. Elias listened as she spoke in fragments, her voice shaking. "They called me cursed, said I was unfit to live. But I never asked to be born." His fists clenched. Humanity had seen its own share of cruelty. But this? To discard a child because of superstition? It boiled his blood. "You're not cursed," he said firmly. "You're alive. And that means you've got a chance." She studied him warily, as if expecting betrayal. Why would a human care? Elias met her gaze. "Because we don't leave people behind. Not anymore." He freed her chains. His crew muttered, wary of keeping a Zerani fugitive aboard, but Elias silenced them. "We saved her," he told them. "That makes her ours to protect." The girl, who finally whispered her name as Serenia, was hesitant at first. She avoided touch, flinched at loud noises, and ate as though every meal might be her last. But aboard Elias's ship, the Resolute, she began to heal. And when she cooked for the crew one night, using herbs she'd foraged from a supply run, the men fell silent at the taste. For the first time in years, Serenia smiled. "You were right," Elias told her quietly. "You're not cursed. You're gifted." But the past was not done with her. One cycle later, while docking at a trade outpost, Elias's crew intercepted a Zerani envoy. The moment Serenia stepped onto the deck, Whispers spread like wildfire. "She lives," someone gasped. "The lost princess. The cursed heir." Serena froze, terror flooding her. "No, don't call me that. I don't want their throne. I don't want any of it." But the news reached Varethel swiftly. Within weeks, Zerani ships appeared in orbit, demanding her return. "She belongs to us," their commanders snarled over comms. "Hand over the cursed one, or face annihilation." Elias stood at the console, jaw tight. His crew looked to him. The smart move was surrender. One girl wasn't worth war. But Elias thought of her laughter, tentative yet real. He thought of the chains, the fear, the night she whispered she'd rather die than go back. "No," he said, his voice cold steel. "She belongs to herself. And she stays with us." The Zerani attacked. The Resolute was outnumbered 5-1. Plasma fire lit the void, tearing across shields. Elias barked orders, his crew moving with precision. Serena stood frozen in the galley until Elira, the engineer's daughter, grabbed her hand. "You can't just watch. If you can fly, then fight." Something inside Serena snapped. For 15 years she had been silenced, chained, told she was worthless. But Elias had given her a home, a choice. Her wings unfurled. She launched into the chaos of the ship's outer decks, dodging blasts with breathtaking speed. Zerani physiology gave her an edge. Her wings cut through the vacuum, her claws ripped into enemy boarding craft. The crew of the Resolute watched in awe as the Cursed One fought like a storm reborn. By the battle's end, the Zerani fleet limped away in shame, unwilling to waste more lives for a girl they had once discarded. When silence returned, Elias found Serena perched on the observation deck, wings folded around her. She stared at the stars, eyes glistening. "They'll never stop hunting me," she whispered. "Not until I'm dead." Elias sat beside her. "Then let them come. You've got a family now. We'll fight with you." Her throat tightened.
"Why?"
"Why risk yourselves for me?" He looked at her steadily. "Because humans know what it's like to be underestimated, to be called weak, reckless, unworthy. We've been thrown off more than one cliff ourselves, but we climb back. And now, so will you." For the first time, Serena let the word roll on her tongue. "Climb." She smiled faintly. Years passed. Serena became more than a survivor. She became a legend among the frontier worlds. The alien girl once cast from a cliff now soared through battlefields, wings blazing like dusk fire, alongside the humans who had saved her. To some, she was still cursed. To others, she was royalty. But to Elias and his crew, she was family. And to Serena herself, she was free. She would never forget the moment they threw her away. The cold sea, the weight of betrayal. But even more, she would never forget the man who had found her 15 years later, offered her a hand, and said, "You're not cursed. You're alive. And that's enough." For in the end, that was what made humans different. Not their weapons, not their ships, but the stubborn, defiant kindness that could pull someone back from the abyss, even after the whole galaxy had let them fall.